Good evening and welcome to the new Library of Birmingham, officially the largest public library in Europe. Well, it opened its doors to the public this morning, and in the next half an hour we're going to take you behind the scenes to have a look at what lies behind this rather unconventional facade. Well, it cost nearly £190 million, but actually that came in under budget. It's spread over 10 floors and that includes some cafes and some outdoor terraces. It houses 1.5 million books. And if you wanted to lay those end to end, they would stretch from here to Edinburgh. Well, first tonight, our arts and culture reporter, Satnam Rana, has been taking a look at the impact of this new building on people here in the Midlands and beyond.
A room without books is like a body without soul. And I say, a city without books in a city without library is like a graveyard.
Wise words from Malala Yousafzai, the 16-year-old girl targeted by the Taliban last year. She officially opened Birmingham's newest cultural attraction this morning in what's become her second home. Throngs of people came along to take a look as the doors to the Library of Birmingham opened. This is the largest public library in Europe. It covers a space of 31,000 square metres. That's the size of 4 football pitches. But what role will it play in a city which is home to Europe's youngest population? Well, the library is a first step in the City Council's big city plan, the 20-year vision to create a world-class city centre.
It is a statement of the belief in the future of this city, and that this city does have a role to play around knowledge and learning for the future. We are Europe's youngest city, that is, we have more people under the age of 25 than any other city in Europe, and this building, I think, does represent very much the future and the future for those young people.
But ambition comes at a cost. £188.8 million has been spent on this building, and this is just the beginning.
I think the running costs will be underwritten, of course, by the City Council. It is a public building, it's a public library, but the Development Trust will look to innovative ways to raise additional funding that will add value to the running of the library in the future.
The library is already forging relationships. A shared entrance with the Repertory Theatre as well as a new auditorium will encourage collaborative working in a multifunctional space. And so to the design of this building. Love it or loathe it, it's here to stay. A bird's eye view shows off the roof gardens, the golden dome, the entwined steel exterior. And this is the lady who came up with the idea, the Dutch architect who wanted to touch our senses.
The facade, the circular pattern is giving something back to a city, but with such a rich history of industrialization and the jewelry, and give it also kind of futuristic look. But also we really wanted to create this kind of gardens on the roofs, because every time I was in Birmingham I saw it's, it's a very green city with beautiful hills, but if I'm down in the centre I just see all these grey roofs.
It is a building for everyone.
What we call it almost like a people's palace. You come in, be inviting, it's yours, and be inspired and meet other people.
In Francine's words, a library is the living room of a city. But what is the future like for libraries? Not everyone's happy. Today, protesters raised their concerns, amongst them privatisation of services and the closure of community facilities. But there has been some success. Worcester's newest library, The Hive, has issued over 1 million books since its opening last July.
People learn and read in different ways. Some people prefer electronic resources, but there's something wonderful about the physical relationship with a book. It's tactile, it's entirely portable, it's just a different kind of feeling altogether.
So it still has a place in a 21st century library?
Oh, completely, yes. But the point is, it's not just about books and it's not just about electronic resources. It's the mix which makes it so special.
It's also about a mix of services. The Hive is a shared facility between the University of Worcester and the Council. So, is this the way forward? Well, it does seem that way. From new technology to the way we consume our knowledge, the library is no longer a silent homage to the book. And as the Library of Birmingham opens its doors, well, success here isn't just dependent on the services it provides, but looking at the services its users need in the future. Satnam Rana, BBC Midlands Today, Birmingham.
Well, it's been a very busy day for everybody here at the library, as you would imagine. Among them, Brian Gambles, who's the director of the library. So it's been 5 years and more in the making, hasn't it, Brian?
Yes, it has.
Has it all been worth it?
Of course. Today's just been one of those great days. You couldn't but love it. Started off with poetry in the amphitheatre. We had Malala's wonderful address. Fantastic speech. What a girl she is. And then we've just had thousands of happy punters.
How many people through the doors so far?
Well, by 5 o'clock we'd had 7,500 in just over 5 hours, and that's obviously still counting.
But this all comes at a cost, a not inconsiderable cost, almost £190 million, at a time when the City Council is having to cut some very vital services that are really affecting people's lives. Is it a good use of public money?
Well, remember first that the decision was made back in 2007, so it's not a new decision.
So
But
was it
I
actually
think-
too late to go back on that then, when we got into these really tight economic times?
Well, there are times when it does become too late to go back, of course, yes. But I think the investment by the City Council in Birmingham, in its belief that the young people of the city deserve a place that's inspirational, that's about learning, that's about culture, that's about reading, that's got to be worth investing in, hasn't it?
Okay, it's about reading, it's about culture, but how are you actually going to measure the success of this new library?
Well, we'll start off by just sheer numbers. If we can attract lots of people, and particularly lots of young people, young families, people from different community backgrounds, that's all important to us. But we then are going to look at some very detailed metrics about how we measure business startups that we support, how literacy levels in the city can be improved, how we can encourage reading. The more children read, the more likely they are to do well in life, and that's something that only a library can do.
We saw it in Satnam's report that there were a few protesters just outside at the front this morning. They are desperate that this public library stays public. Will it?
Yes, it will. I think they're fighting last year's war. It's already been declared. This will be run by Birmingham City Council.
Brian Gambles, thank you very much indeed. I should think you've earned yourself a good lie down at the end of today. So as you can see, people are still streaming in behind me, desperate to have a look at this and see what's so new about it. And actually there were hundreds of people queuing up outside this morning, waiting for the doors to open, which happened just before midday. And amongst them were the Seagull family. There was 8-year-old Juniper and mum and dad Amber and Peter. And they were regular users of the old library. Well, I joined them to have a look at these brand new facilities. It's your birthday today. It's quite an unusual place to want to come and spend your birthday. Why did you want to come to the library?
I'm a very keen reader, and if I ever have a book from my library, I will spend at least 15 minutes reading them.
At least 15. So what's it like from your perspective?
It's a lot more space, which is a good thing. One of the things I didn't like about the old libraries, I never knew where anything was. And there was all these hidden dark nooks and crannies and corners everywhere. And, you know, just in the 15 minutes we've been here, you can see there's a lot more light, a lot more space. It seems easier to get around.
If kids aren't into books, a space like this has just got to make them excited, and then the next step is they start looking at the books, and I think it's a really good asset to the city. The city needs it, I think.
It's much larger, so it has more books, and it's got like a scene you can take the books on level 7, like there's the secret garden.
Not so secret though, if you know about it.
But if you go up to it, then you can just sit down and read your book.
Okay, Juniper, we have kept you for a very, very long time now as you've been hanging around, looking at a few books, but have you got one in particular that you'd really like to find?
I would quite like to find the last one on the top line of the Tintin collection.
Aha! That sounds like a quest to me, Dad. Which direction do you think it's in?
Move over there where there's some picture books.
Okay, should we go and find it?
All right, let's go.
And Juniper was telling me that amongst the birthday presents she had today were 3 books, so that's good to know. Well, I'll be back a little bit later in the programme. You can, though, read more about this new library on our Birmingham News website. And later on, I'll be talking to the Birmingham author, Mike Gale. And also, Shafali is here. She's upstairs on one of the balconies, bathed in sunshine. She'll bring you the full forecast. Now, though, it's back to Nick in the studio for a roundup of the other day's news.
Thanks, Mary. 6